So Anthony, thank you for joining me and agreeing to talk to our couch flippers about the best cleaning practices for their couches. Could you just do a quick intro of yourself?
Sure. My name is Anthony Solito. I'm owner and founder of Anthony Peter Upholstery. I've been in the business since, I've been in the business over 10 years, but I have Anthony Peter Upholstery since 2017. You know, I do upholstery, carpets, rugs, drapery. We do residential, commercial. I also do all on-site cleaning for McGarian, which is a 100-year-old rug company. I do all their on-site cleaning, and I'm here based in Brooklyn.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. Our couch flippers are not professional couch cleaners, but most frequently is not understanding what solutions to apply to the fabric that they're working with. So maybe we can start there. How would they go about that?
Yeah, all right. So the most important thing first that you really should identify is the type of fabric you're working on. If you don't know the type of fabric you're working on, it's very easily to ruin the couch. You have to know whether it's natural fiber or synthetic. Then if it's natural fiber, you really have to know whether it's a cotton blend. A lot of high-end couches now have viscose in them. Very, very, very difficult to clean. It can be cleaned, but it's very difficult. You know, a lot of the high-end couches also are wool, 100% wool. And then once you identify the type of fabric it is, then you know what type of shampoo or product you can use, because it goes by pH. If it's a synthetic material, you can use a higher pH shampoo. If it's a natural fiber, you want to use a low pH, like an acid rinse. Really, that's the gist of it.
Okay. So the first and foremost, we need to figure out, is it synthetic or natural fabric?
Yes.
And then different components of the couch might have different types of fabric as well.
Yes.
So based on the area of the couch that you're cleaning, understand the material.
Yes.
And then within those two broader categories of natural and synthetic, you also have subcategories. You have different kinds of synthetic fabrics and different kinds of natural fabrics too. So how closely do we have to match the cleaning product to the kind of synthetic fabric and to the kind of natural fabric? Or could we, let's say, be generally okay if we have a natural fabric cleaner versus a synthetic fabric cleaner?
So I'm doing this a long time. So I have a cleaner that I use that's a high pH that I use for synthetic upholstery. That's very dirty, that has a lot of soil on it. It's like a pH of like maybe 10 or high, right? And it's very aggressive. It cleans very well. But I could only use that on synthetic, any type of synthetic, any type of synthetic material. I could also use whatever I'm using on natural fibers on the synthetic material. So I cannot use the synthetic shampoos on the natural fibers.
I see.
You understand?
So the natural fabric is a lot more finicky and easy to damage.
Absolutely, yes. And that's what you got to be careful of. You have to be careful of the pH balance in the shampoo you're using, because everything has a pH. All the cleaners have pH to it on the end of front. And the natural cleaners have the low pH, the acid rinses, and the synthetic cleaners have a high pH, the alkaline rinses, basically.
So if we were to get to like a basic level, matching the right cleaner to the fabric, arguably you could get away with, it's not the optimal practice, but you could get away with two cleaners.
Yeah.
One that's low pH for natural fabric.
Yes.
And one that's high pH for synthetic fabric.
Yes.
Are there any cleaners that our couch flippers would be able to purchase that are not like commercial grade? Because my understanding is that if you want to buy commercial cleaners, you need a commercial license, right? So they're probably not going to be able to buy the same cleaners that you can buy.
Not necessarily. They could go to like a John Don store like that, and they could buy a commercial grade cleaner. Really, that's what you should use. Okay. You shouldn't use anything but a commercial grade cleaner to clean your couches. I don't trust anything that you could go, if you buy something in Home Depot like Zep product, people use it, but I don't trust it.
Have you heard of Amodex?
No.
No? Okay, because that's a stain cleaner that's very popular in the couch flipping circle. Some people swear by it, but
okay. My spotter that I use, and it gets out 99% of stains, is called Trashed Green.
Trashed Green.
Trashed Green. One company makes it, Magic Wand, and it's the best spotter I've ever used. It gets almost everything out, and that's the only thing. And I can also clean with it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Amazing. So if you had to recommend for our couch flippers one synthetic cleaner and one natural fabric cleaner, what would they be?
Natural fabric cleaner would be like a Pro Chem or fiber rinse. They could get that. That's an acid rinse. They could use that on any natural fiber couch. They could use that on a viscose blend. You know, I do a lot of high-end. Most of my work is in high-end, Upper East Side, Madison Park Avenue. And nowadays, all the upholstery is viscose, you know, so you have to be very careful and you have to know if that's what you're getting, because that's where the upholstery is going now, I see. More and more towards viscose. For synthetic, you want to use, I like to use a one clean. It's called Chem Spec, the company. They make the product they make is called one clean.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, amazing. You heard it here first, guys. One thing that was interesting is you talked about higher end upholstery, higher end furniture, moving more towards this viscose fabric material. I think a lot of our couch flippers aren't necessarily dealing in the highest end couches, because if you're buying a high end couch, you can probably afford to buy it retail a lot of the time, right? I think our couch flippers are dealing more in that mid-range tier of couches. So something that they can pick up for $200-$300, turn around, sell it for $800 to $1,000. A brand that's very popular, Natuzzi, Article, West Elm. So more of these like mid-range brands, as opposed to Crate and Barrel, as opposed to like a Restoration Hardware, which would be on the sort of on the higher end of the spectrum. What sort of fabric types are more common in this mid-range category of couches?
Just like polypropylene, synthetic. That's really basically what it is. There really isn't anything else but that used. And then if it's a natural fiber, it's natural fiber, it's usually like a cotton blend or like a wool blend.
Yeah. Okay. Another question that comes up, one thing that is like,
I do want to say it's fairly simple. Once you start cleaning couches, it's fairly simple to see what the couches are, what type of fabric it is, and what you need to use to clean it. It's not rocket science. You know, you could have like 2 or 3 cleaners, 1 spotter. That's really all you need. You know, you go in and get an extractor. You know, you get an agitator. You can use a drill with a brush on it to agitate the dirt so you can extract it, and that's really all you need. And once you know, so I could walk in now and I could just look at the couch, and right away, 95% of the time, I could know whether it's synthetic or if it's natural fiber. So yeah, so once you get the hang of it, you'll be okay, and you'll be able to easily see and know what you need.
Right. So one thing that, you know, we hear a lot about is if you check the tags, there's going to be some codes on there.
Yes.
Could you break that down for us?
Okay. So the cleaning codes are something that the manufacturer of the couches use as really a liability thing. You know, they say, you know, cleaning code S, you know, or, you know, don't use any water on this couch. It has to be dry clean. Every single couch is cleaned the same way. Hot water extraction. The only thing is that some couches might be cleaned with low moisture, where others are cleaned, you know, just using whatever amount of moisture you want to use, amount of water. But that's it. But the cleaning codes are, I ignore them. There's nothing, the cleaning codes really is not something that you have to go by.
I see. So the idea being but in the tags prescribed by the manufacturer, they're giving you the least invasive method to clean the couch, because they don't want to end up in a position where they've made a recommendation. Here's how you clean the couch. The consumer tries to apply that recommendation, and then they damage the material somehow, and then they're like, oh, manufacturer, you led me astray.
Yes. Because they say, a lot of times they say, oh, you know, you have to dry clean this couch. And you dry cleaning the couch, you're not extracting any of the dirt, wiping it around.
Right.
And you're not really extracting anything. Every type of couch, I've used hot water extract. Every type.
Yeah. I know it's really important to understand the fabric that you're working with.
So the way you could find out if there's no tag on the couch, so the way you could tell what type of fabric you're working with is called the burn test. You take a piece of the material and you burn it. All the different materials will burn a different way. They'll have a different smell, and there's a chart. There's a chart in the industry that they have, you know, different color flames, different smells, the way it melts the material. That's how you'll identify what the material is. Now, if you walk in, you don't want to do a burn test and you're not sure what the material is, then you go with the least invasive. You know, you go with, all right, it's probably a natural fiber, so let me go with an acid rinse instead of a synthetic.
So, oh, that's interesting. So you'll like literally like cut off a piece of the fabric, like maybe from the underside, and you'll burn it.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you really need to know the type of fabric, because you're working, you really need to get a certain type of stain out, and you need to get a specific type of spotter, and you need to know exactly what the fabric is you're working with. Yes. Take a piece of the material, you burn it, and there's a chart that you use, and on the chart it will tell you, you'll see the type of flame and the smoke, and it'll tell you exactly what type of material it is.
And how important is it to know what kind of stain you're working with?
It is very important because, a lot of times I ask a customer, do you know what the stain is? And they're like, no, I have no idea what the stain is. And I'm like, okay, so I use the trash green spotter, and it gets 90 to 95% of the stains out. Now, if the stain doesn't come out, then I really need to know, what it is. That in that case, if I knew what it was, I would be able to go get a specific spotter and use that specific spotter to get it out, like an enzyme. If it's blood, milk, eggs are hard to get out off of fabric. Yeah, milk is turns like glue. Milk is very hard to get off. Anything that's organic, you want to use an enzyme to break it up. And then
any organic stains, use an enzyme cleaner.
Use an enzyme cleaner. An enzyme spotter.
Enzyme spotter.
Yeah.
Got it. Any organic stains, use an enzyme spotter.
Yes.
What about for other kinds of stains? What sort of cleaning products would match different kinds of stains? What are the different kinds of stains, and what are some cleaning supplies that would match those types of stains?
All right. You have your organic stains, and there's a whole array of enzyme cleaners that you could use. Then they have you have dyes. A lot of people have spilled Gatorade or whatever it may be. Red dye is a big one. They have specific spotters just for red dye. That's one of them. Another one is people get any type of grease. There's specific spotters just to get grease. Any type of oil. We use a spotter called POG, paint oil grease. And that gets a lot of tar, grease, any type of heavy duty oil. It'll get it off of upholstery. And that's really most of the stains, I think. Yeah.
I'm imagining the grease stains are probably the most difficult stains to get rid of.
No, actually the dyes.
The dyes.
Okay. The dyes are the most difficult, yes.
And that so let's say it's red 5. You need something that specifically will get rid of red 5.
Super difficult to get out. Super difficult. Red 5 dye stains. I have gotten them out before, but it's extremely difficult. It's a very big process. You have to clean the material. You get the spotter, you put the spotter on. Then you have to apply heat to it. You get an iron, get a towel over it. You get an iron, and you apply the heat to it. And then the dye transfers to the towel.
Wow.
Doesn't always work, but sometimes it does. If it goes by exactly how it says on the bottle, if it works correctly, beautiful. It comes right out. But sometimes it doesn't come out. Red dye is difficult.
And theme that I've heard throughout our conversation is sort of this principle of do no harm, right? You want to clean the couch, you want to improve its value, but the most important thing is you don't want to make it worse.
Less is more.
Less is more. So could you give maybe some examples or talk just a little bit more about this idea of less is more when it comes to cleaning a couch?
Yeah, so less is more. The idea is that, sometimes you want to be the hero and you want to get this stain out, and so that you could have this beautiful couch and you could show what you did. And in the process, you wind up going too far and ruining it, right? So, like I said, less is more. You start at the most minimum. You use the least invasive products, and you start there, and then you work your way up. And then you have to come to a point where you have to say to yourself, all right, this is far enough. I can't go any further, because if I go any further, I'm gonna ruin the couch. And that's something that over time and experience, you'll learn yourself. There's no way I could tell you, when to stop. That's something that over time you'll get to know. But you want to start always with the least invasive product, and then work your way up to the most aggressive. Pro Choice Odor Eliminator.
Let's say our couch flippers are dealing with a couch. It's come from a pet home. It's come from a smoking home, and it just has a terrible odor. Do you approach this in the same way that you would approach a couch with like stains on it, or is your process slightly different? So how would you go about this?
Well, if you want to get this smell out, you definitely use hot water extraction, which is the same process that you would use if you were cleaning it any other way for any other reason. But this time, what you want to do is you want a heavy-duty disinfectant with some type of smell to it to knock out the smoke or the pet stains. Or if you have cushions that are removable, what I do is I take the cushions off, I put them in a garbage bag, and then with my machine, I suck the air out and collapse the cushion so that the disinfectant goes through the cushion, because sometimes it doesn't go through all the way. And when you're cleaning it, yes, it smells good, and then when it dries, you can smell it again. So you want to really get in the cushions. Really good. Yeah. You know, the frame of the couch, you could only do so much with the frame. But when you're doing hot water extraction, you know, you're shooting in water, you know, maybe this much, 2-3 inches into the couch and then extracting it. You're getting into in the frame of the couch pretty good. But yeah, you have to do your pretty good, a thorough job on the cushions.
You're saying that when you have cushions and significant odor, that you'd throw them in a garbage bag, and then could you talk about?
So if the cushions are removable, what you do is you want to take the cushions off. I put them in a large garbage bag, and before I put them in a large garbage, I'll spray the disinfectant on both sides of the cushion, put them in the garbage bag, and then I'll suck all the air out, so it collapses the cushion, so that the disinfectant goes through the cushion, goes through it all the way. Because what happens sometimes is that you'll clean it, it'll smell beautiful, and then once it dries, the customer will call and say, "Hey, I could still smell, a tiny amount, head odor or smoke or whatever it may be." So it's real important to do that to the cushions.
Got it.
Or one other thing, if the cushions are not removable, I do injections. I have a large needle. I get the disinfectant or an enzyme, depending on what it is. So if it's pet urine, I use an enzyme. I put in the needle. If the cushions are removable, or if it's in the frame of the couch, I'll stick the needle in, and then you inject the enzyme into the frame or the cushions the cushions that are not removable. And sometimes you could do the same thing to the removable cushions if you feel like you need some.
Very interesting. So one thing our couch flippers talk about is using an ozone generator. Have you ever played around with that?
For what?
For smoke smells. So apparently if you go to a casino, in a hotel casino where they allow smoking in the rooms, etc., they'll run an ozone generator through the rooms, and that neutralizes the smoke.
All right, yeah.
Specifically.
Okay.
So, but that's not a tactic that you've used.
No, it's something that I ever needed to.
Got it.
To use.
Because of the effectiveness of the solution that you just described to me.
Yeah.
Is there ever an odor that you'll come across that you just can't do anything with, or are you pretty consistently able to tackle odors?
I mean, there was one time maybe I came across like a really heavily pet, a couch that had a lot of pet urine on it. But other than that, what I use pretty much knocks out.
Okay.
Smell. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, you described using a machine to sort of vacuum seal the bag in which, what is that machine?
So the extractor, it's the same machine that I'm using to clean the couch. It's a vacuum, plus it has the hose with the solution. So the vacuum part, I just put in the bag and let it suck all the air out.
Got it. So that's the final, and now that we're on that subject, let's talk about essential equipment for cleaning couches. So we've talked about the cleaners and the enzymes and the disinfectants, etc. A lot of our couch flippers I know are working with maybe a portable extractor like a Bissell or something like that, but there's another level to commercial cleaning equipment. So I would love to hear about that from you.
Yeah, so a Bissell or any product like that, any machine like that, it may work for you, but a lot of times I get calls because those machines put out a lot of water, but they're not powerful enough to suck the water back up. So what happens is the upholstery winds up staying wet for a long time, and you never want your upholstery to stay wet more than 24 hours. Stays wet more than 24 hours, you start having problems. It starts to smell like mildew. You could either have a mold problem. Sometimes mold grow very fast on on fabric. So there's all types of extractors that you could buy. There's extractors that you could buy that are heated, that are not heated. The one that I use is Clean Right. That's the brand.
Clean Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So regular shop vac plus Clean Right attachment, or is the Clean Right a machine proper?
No, the Clean Right machine itself is an extractor. Plus, the solution goes in it. And then it has the tank where all the dirty water, and the dirty solution goes in. Everything is in one machine.
Got it. How much would a Clean Right run a couch flipper if they were interested in purchasing one?
So when I first bought my machine, I bought it through a company. I paid over $2,000 for it. It was a heated machine. Having a heated machine is a big plus because you want to have the solution heated, very hot, except when you're doing viscose, where we want to use colder water. Any other time you want to have extremely hot water, so it's good to have a heated machine, but that may cost more money. But nowadays you could probably get one for like anywhere from like $1,800 to $1,500 if you go directly to the manufacturer.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And why is it important for the water to be heated?
It just activates the solution. It breaks up the soil. It makes it a lot easier to extract. You'll do a lot less work with a heated machine.
Could our flippers get away with like spray bottle with like heated water, apply the solution, spray it all over the couch, and then doing an extraction? Is that like
They can. You can.
next best thing?
Yeah, you can. I mean, if the sofas are not super dirty, yes, you can clean like that.
Got it.
Yeah.
And let's say our flippers aren't ready to make a $2,000 investment into a professional commercial grade like upholstery cleaner like that.
Mm-hmm.
What is the next best thing? Is it like a shop vac with an attachment? Like what?
So in Home Depot, they have these portable machines that I like. Not the ones that you wouldn't use. They're just portable hot water extraction machines that you could use. It's not on wheels. It's something you carry, but it's just like the machine that I use.
Oh, great. And battery powered, or do you need to plug it in?
No, you plug it in.
Plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
What do you know offhand, like what the manufacturer might be?
No, I'm not sure. I know you could rent them in Home Depot.
Okay. Oh, you can rent
them. Yeah, you don't have to buy them. They're rentals.
Do you know how much that would cost?
It's probably anywhere from like $25 to $40 a day. Not much.
Yeah. Okay, certainly. And if someone who's trying to get their feet wet, learning about how to clean a couch without making the upfront investment of like $1,000 or $2,000 into a professional machine, they can just go rent one at Home Depot, check it out for themselves.
Yes, definitely.
All right. Well, Anthony, those are all my questions today. I thank you for diving deep with me. I know our couch flippers need a ton of value out of this.
Absolutely.
Really appreciate your time.
Absolutely.
Thank you.